just days to go until the Cheltenham Festival, so we've come to Tony Martin's yard in County Meath to get the latest on all his stable stars. We've got Beneficient, we've got Ted Veale, and plenty of other handicap chances. So let's hear what Tony has to say about his big Cheltenham hopes. Well, Tony, we're at that time of the year again, a few days away from Cheltenham, and you're going to have a few runners.
Yeah, touch wood, we have 5 or 6 there to go, hopefully.
Things are going well. You've had a great 12 months. Let's talk about last year, because you'd had a couple of Cheltenham wins with Dundee and the Xenophone, but last year must have been unreal.
Yeah, last year was brilliant. Beneficient, couldn't have hoped for better. A very hot race. Prior to the race, we weren't happy with our place, but all went well, worked out great.
And then 24 hours later, Ted Veale in the county.
Yeah, he was one of our, going to Cheltenham, he was probably one of the ones that we really fancied well, and lucky enough, same thing again, it all went well and he won.
Okay, those two hopefully are planning to go back. Beneficient, we've seen him out and about this morning. He's in the Queen Mother and he's in the Ryanair at the moment. Which way are you leaning?
Leaning towards the Ryanair big time. I think that's his ideal trip. Going left-handed, he was very good around there last year. Cheltenham, Leopardstown is one of his favourite places. He always runs very well there. And I think the 2-5 is no bother to him. Prior to Cheltenham last year, in November of that year, he was a second only bet on the line, caught on the line by Harry Topper in Newbury over 3. And since then he's learned to relax, race a lot more settled within himself racing. So I see no problem with the 2-5. He's
a terrific horse, a great credit, and he's just got something about him that on a big day, he's the horse that you want on your side.
I think ground is a big factor too. He's a far better horse than better ground, and Cheltenham usually rides that way. It's never really any worse than yielding to soft. So hopefully it'll be yielding to soft this year with no heavy in it, and if he gets that ground, hopefully he'll put up a good show.
And the fact that he can win a Grade 1 over 2 miles, and as you said, he's probably better over further, it's obviously the sign of a really good horse.
Yeah, he's proved himself, as you say. He won the elite hurdle over 2-2. Cheltenham last year was 2.5, and as you say, back to 2-1 there in Leopardstown this year. But I do think as he's got older and stronger, I think like the 2-5 should be no bother to him.
And obviously we don't know what the ground's going to be like. It looks as though it's going to be on the soft side. Could that sway you maybe to run on the Wednesday, or if another big name came out, might you change your mind?
No, I wouldn't be. I'd be far more keen to go with the 2-5. Have to have a chat with Aidan Shields and Niall Riley, and so we'll make a decision near the time. But if it was left to me, definitely I'd be heading towards the distance race, the 2-5.
And you mentioned Aidan and Niall. We must give a mention to them, because obviously there was great scenes. I suppose initially after the last day there was more anxious scenes than anything else, but the other 2 Grade 1s and then Cheltenham last year, there must be great lads to train for.
They're 2 great characters. Like I've known them a long time now, and I say they're the salt of the art. 2 brilliant guys, and I couldn't be more happy for them the last day, the way it turned out. As I said, there was a lot of anxiety, an awful lot of waiting and a lot of pressure on them. Unfortunately enough, the steward's decision went the right way with them. I think he would have been a very unlucky loser, but you couldn't have 2 better lads owning a horse or to be involved with in any way. And
they're based in New York, and they've got a pub, I'm sure. The plane tickets are already booked.
Yeah, they're all set out. As soon as the horse is entered up, or you make a plan at all, they'll get ready, and they'll never fail to turn up to see him perform.
And should he run in the Ryanair, Brian obviously might be riding First Lieutenant. Have you any idea who might ride him?
Well, we haven't done anything yet. You've Ruby there, all depends how Willie runs. Barry Garrity has ridden him some work, Paul Carberry has ridden him some work. I'd have no worries come near the day. Like one of them, there's bound to be one of them available there the day before declaration, so we'll wait till then and wait till the last minute before seeing who's free to ride him. And
Johnny, the guy who's riding him this morning, seems very happy. Is he as good as you've ever had him?
I'm very happy with him. John there's rode him a lot of work all winter, him and Ronan Dwyer, and the 2 boys are very pleased with him, so touch wood, fingers crossed at the moment, we're all happy with him.
Right, let's talk Ted Veale. He's had a couple of runs over fences. He's in the Arkle and he's in the Grand Annual, and obviously the weights were launched earlier in the week for the Grand Annual. What was your reaction?
I was a little bit disappointed. I was a bit surprised. He started off the year before he even got a mark on 146, which was his hurdle mark in England. He ran quite well the first day. He was third led a long way by Dodging Bullets and Racehorse, and there was a horse half a length behind him called the Mighty Mackin that the Englishman subsequently dropped to 1-3-0, and we were only half a length in front of him. We had 2 disappointing runs, all right, they were on ground that he wouldn't be in love with in Leopardstown, but he's led a long way by Trifolium, Champagne Native, and them 2 grade 1s. And I was hoping he'd get in under 140, so the way he is at the moment, I'd be more inclined to let him have a whack at the Arkle. He has the experience of being around there in his first novice there in November. He's ran around in 2 grade 1s since at really proper breakneck speed, so he has plenty of experience on his side, and all going well, I think we should let him have a whack at the Arkle. He has plenty of experience, and that's why I'd be more inclined to go that route now that he's been given a weight of 146. I think he might be better off in the Arkle.
And obviously things can change, and ground like Beneficient is probably the key to him.
Oh yeah, there's no point saying it. There's nothing you can do. You can't change the ground overnight. But he is a far better horse and better ground. The better the ground, the better he is.
And obviously in Arkle he could be taking on Champagne Fever and Trifolium. It'll be tough for him, but you'd be happy enough to make him take a chance in a race where there could be only 6 or 7 runners.
Well, that's it. There's not going to be a lot of runners. They're 2 top class horses, but look, he's a fair good horse. He had some great runs there in the Ebor last year on the flat. He's a very classy horse, and I think the ground would make a big difference to him, and I think it'll give him a right good place chance if the ground comes good.
And are you ruling out the Grand Annual, or are you leaving all options open?
I'm leaving all options open, but as I say, just at the moment I'd be favouring the Arkle for him, and same as Beneficient, I'd be favouring the Riding Air, but you'd leave all options open, all depends on the weather, jockey arrangements, and as you say, you'd be what horses are left to clear, what horses go where, you'd be trying to pick and choose, see where your best opportunity is, but at the moment that's the way I'd be heading anyway.
Okay, you've 4 or 5 more entered. I know you've living next door in a few of the handicaps. He's well down. He's also in the Kimure. Is that the race you're leaning towards?
I doubt it. I'd say if I had my way with him, he's a bit below a filly called Victory Scale. I'd say she'd probably go for the Kimure, and Maxine O'Sullivan, the rider, and living next door
He's in the 4
miler, and I'd say that's where he'd go. Wrong Turn is also there. We try and find something for him. He might run in the Handicap Chase, the 3 Mile Pro race, which Shrod Podrick is in as well. But I said, do the final bits of work there middle of next week, next Wednesday or Thursday, have a look at the decks and make a decision then. But just at the moment it's too far away with no confirmations done or anything just to say. But definitely I like Victory Scale. I think she has the experience. She's around there. She was 4th in November off a very slow pace. She went in the Powers of Christmas, ran very well. Race suited her, they went a good gallop, and she was 4th. So I think she's a little bit of an outside chance in the Kimure if she gets in.
And living next door, how have you thought of his season so far?
A bit stop-start. Probably wasn't straight enough in Navan. He fell at the last with a chance going to be placed in the Tri-Town. Wasn't the way we wanted him at Christmas, and then he was running very well the last day, and unfortunately conceded Alan Crowe 3 out. Definitely I think he would have had a good each way shout that day. So fingers crossed, hopefully if things go right from you would have to give him an each way shout in Cheltenham.
And clearly he stays.
Oh, that's a strong point. Stanham is a strong point.
We haven't mentioned Golantilla. Obviously there's been plenty of talk about him. He ran in the bumper last year, and we've seen him at Naas. Obviously needed to get a run into him before Cheltenham.
After Cheltenham last year, he had a tough enough time prior to that. He'd won his point, he'd won his bumper, he'd been over and back to the sales in England. So we thought it was the thing to do. Brought him in this year, and we just met a few little teething problems there in September, October. The intention was to go hurdling with him, but when we didn't have him fit enough to run till a few weeks ago. We said, what's the point? We'd leave him till next year to go hurdling. We said we would have a whack at the bumper. So he needed to run the other day, turned in, looked if he was going to run a good race, and blew up. Ground wasn't in our favour, it was all against him, heavy ground, so hopefully he'll be a lot better come Cheltenham, and I think he'll make a lot of improvement, and he definitely deserves to take his chance if we're happy with the horse. If he's healthy and well there 3 or 4 days prior to Cheltenham, I see no reason why we don't put him on the lorry and send him over.
Because he travelled so well for a long wait in Naas.
He did, that was it. I'd say he was just lack of probably came maybe 3 weeks too early from the race, but we needed somewhere to start him off and get him up to 100% fitness, and we started there, and the ground wasn't in his favour and he needed a run, but I think he's going to make a lot of improvement from that day to the next.
And it's very rare a horse runs in 2 bumpers. I think it's only ever happened once. Course form and the fact he's been to Cheltenham, that'll all be in his favour compared to anything else in the race.
Definitely, and the year's experience will have helped him an awful lot. He was very raw and immature last year, and he's a total different horse this year. Far more relaxed, calmer and stronger in every way, physically and mentally.
And you're happy with him since?
I'm very pleased with him since Nace.
And I think we mentioned Savello, he's in as well. Might he run?
Yeah, he's a horse. I think the better ground will help him. He was in great form this time last year. He won 2 races this time last year, and just I think that little bit of better weather and the better ground, he's beginning to show a bit of that spark now. So hopefully we'll give him a bit of work there next week and take it from there.
And Cheltenham on a whole, you've ridden 2 winners there. You've trained 4. Is it what everyone says it is?
Oh, it is. Yeah, it's the Olympics of the racing game. You know, it's the same as for footballers want to do. They're playing football. They want to get to Croke Park on the early September for the All Ireland, and that's what Cheltenham is to the trainers, jockeys and everyone involved. Like, it's, you know, from the time I was a young fella, it was all Arkle and Cheltenham, and it's just the same lads as life went on there. Sure, it's the same with them. It's, you know, since all them good horses came to the fore, whatever it was, Desert Orchard or whatever you had, Monksfield, definitely it's the Olympics of our sport.
And of all the horses we mentioned going to the festival, if they all turned up, what would be your best chance?
Most of them, you'd have to give them all little each way chances or we wouldn't be going, but I think Victory Scale is quite a good outsider. I'd give her a right squeak. She's really beginning to come to herself, very happy with her. She has the experience, been around there. She was 4th there in November, good run at Christmas, and I give her a right each way chance.
And finally, Tony, a horse who's not going is Flemenstar. Obviously we haven't seen him since he won it now, but he's not here. But just to give us an update, when might we see him and how is he?
He's very good. Seen him a few days ago. Stevie Curran, the man that owns him, has him at home. He's doing a brilliant job with him. He's getting plenty of cold hosing and therapy as for his leg, and his legs look very good, and Stevie's doing a great job with him, so hopefully Stevie will do a little pre-training and get him going early next year and take it from there. And
from the short time that you had him, what did you think of him?
Very impressed. He galloped one day in Tipperary and Ruby Walsh rode in the same bit of work, and he was like me. The two of us were gobsmacked by it. It was as good a work I've seen a horse ever do, and Ruby verified that, and Stevie was there the same day, and it was just awesome what he done. And unfortunately what happened to him, we went to Navan with a noseband on him, wrong thing obviously, didn't jump well, didn't act, but his class got him through and he won. And then a few weeks later job went wrong and he got a leg. One of those unfortunate things.
But Cheltenham for you this year, everything's all set, and touch wood, everything turns up.
Yeah, well that's it. You know, from the start of the year you look at the horses, you say Flemensford, Bog Warriors, whatever your top horses are, and the goal is that they'll get to Cheltenham, same as Philip Fenton there with his horse at the moment, and that's the goal where everyone is aiming for.